What if Earth hides a secret deeper than we ever imagined? Buried beneath layers of ancient stone are clues that whisper of a time before humanity, not just bones or fossils, but strange metals, isotopes that don't belong, structures that defy nature. Welcome to Before the Light, where we explore the edges of science and the mysteries lost to time. Today we step into the Silurian Hypothesis, the bold idea that an advanced civilization might have lived on Earth long before us and vanished without a trace. Think that sounds impossible? So did we. But then came the evidence. Let's begin. Let's step softly into a past forgotten by time. And maybe, just maybe, catch a glimpse of who came before. In 2018, two scientists, astrobiologist Adam Frank and climatologist Gavin Schmidt, published an unusual paper. They called it the Silurian Hypothesis. Their question was simple but provocative. If an industrial civilization had existed on Earth millions of years ago, would we be able to detect it today? The name Silurian was borrowed from a fictional reptilian species in the British sci-fi series Doctor Who. But the idea itself was serious. Frank and Schmidt weren't claiming such a civilization ever existed. They were asking how its traces, if any, might appear in the geological record, and whether we, as modern scientists, would even recognize them. Earth's crust is constantly recycling itself through erosion, plate tectonics, and volcanic activity. Over millions of years, entire continents can vanish or transform, fossils are rare, and human civilization has existed for just a few thousand years, a blink in geological time. If a past civilization had lasted even 100,000 years and then disappeared, its cities, machines, and written language might be gone. But some things could remain: changes in sediment chemistry, unusual isotopic ratios, abrupt climate shifts linked to industrial activity. This isn't a theory about aliens or conspiracy, it's a framework for thinking about how to detect any civilization, ours or others, through planetary science. And it starts with a question: what would we leave behind if we disappeared today? And could something like that already be buried beneath our feet? So, if a civilization had existed millions of years ago, how would we even know? The answer might not be in fossils or lost cities, it might be in the rocks. Let's look at a real example. In 1980, geologist Walter Alvarez was studying rock layers in Italy. He found a thin band of clay that marked the time when the dinosaurs went extinct, about 66 million years ago. What stood out was this: the clay had 30 times more iridium than normal. That's a metal that's rare on Earth but common in asteroids, and that single clue became the key to proving that a massive asteroid hit Earth and caused a global extinction. So what does that have to do with lost civilizations? Well, it shows that big events can leave permanent chemical marks in the Earth, marks that last tens of millions of years. Now think about what we're doing to the planet right now. We burn fossil fuels, we release carbon dioxide, we leave behind plastics and heavy metals. Those things are already showing up in sediments, tree rings, and even ice cores. Future scientists, millions of years from now, would see our impact clearly, even if our buildings were long gone. So here's the question: if there was a civilization long before us, could it have left behind similar signs? Maybe a spike in carbon isotopes, or strange metal concentrations, or synthetic chemicals that don't break down easily. Scientists have seen ancient spikes like that before, but most have natural explanations: volcanic eruptions, methane releases, climate shifts. Still, it makes you wonder, what if just once one of those spikes wasn't natural? What if it was something else? Now let's talk about something strange in the fossil record. If life has been evolving on Earth for billions of years, you'd expect a gradual story. Simple life slowly becoming complex one step at a time. But that's not always what we see. Take the Cambrian explosion, for example. It happened about 540 million years ago. Before that, most life was microscopic. Single-celled, soft-bodied, simple. Then, almost suddenly, complex creatures appeared. Animals with eyes, shells, legs, and full-body plans. And it happened in what's, geologically speaking, the blink of an eye, just a few million years. To be clear, scientists have explanations for this. Evolution doesn't always move at a steady pace. Maybe environmental changes triggered rapid development. Maybe earlier fossils didn't preserve well. Soft bodies don't fossilize easily. But still, it's a big leap. And that's not the only one. There are other points in Earth's history where life seems to jump ahead or reset completely. Mass extinctions, sudden disappearances, new species showing up without clear ancestors. Some scientists call these gaps in the fossil record. But maybe a better word is interruptions. Moments where something big happened and we're not sure what. Now, this doesn't prove there was a lost civilization, but here's where it connects to the Silurian Hypothesis. If an ancient industrial society did exist, even briefly, it might have caused massive environmental changes, maybe even a mass extinction. And if that happened far enough in the past, its traces could be buried in one of those interruptions we see today. Again, we're not saying that's what happened. But the idea is this: if you were looking for signs of a long-lost civilization, you might start with the moments in Earth's history that don't quite add up. Let's shift focus to Antarctica. Today, it's a frozen desert. But not that long ago, geologically speaking, it was something very different. We know from satellite imaging and ancient plant fossils that parts of Antarctica were once covered in forests. There were rivers, soil, even dinosaur life. And beneath the 2 kilometers of ice that cover it today, there's something else. A geological archive, sealed and protected for millions of years. That makes Antarctica one of the best places to look for ancient traces of climate, biology, or even civilization. Now, to be clear, no one has found cities under the ice. But scientists have discovered anomalies. For example, radar scans have revealed large, regular structures buried beneath the surface. Most are explained as natural, rock formations shaped by ancient glaciers. But some patterns are oddly symmetrical. Some areas show signs of geothermal heat, warm spots that melt ice from below. One of the most studied places is Lake Vostok. It's a massive subglacial lake, untouched for possibly 15 million years. The water there may hold microbes never seen before, and the sediment beneath it could contain chemical records from a much warmer time. So why does this matter for the Silurian Hypothesis? Because if a civilization existed tens of millions of years ago, especially in a now ice-covered continent like Antarctica, its remains might be buried, not eroded, preserved, not lost. That's important. Most ancient evidence gets destroyed over time, but Antarctica's ice acts like a vault, and scientists are just beginning to drill deeper. Here's the key idea. If there was an industrial civilization before us, its clearest traces might be locked in places we've barely explored. Not in deserts or jungles, but under ice. So let's say, for a moment, that a civilization really did exist before us. Not aliens, not myths, just a species that rose, built, and disappeared long before we ever came along. If that's true, what does it mean for us? First, it would change how we see history. We wouldn't be the first to industrialize or even the first to shape the planet. We'd be part of a longer story, one chapter in Earth's deep, complicated timeline. But it also raises a harder question. What happened to them? Did they destroy their environment? Did climate change overwhelm them? Or did they simply run out of time, forgotten by the same geology that buries everything eventually? And most importantly, are we repeating their mistakes? Today, we know our own civilization is leaving a clear mark on the planet. Carbon levels, plastic particles, chemical waste, all of it layered into the rocks just like any other geological event. If someone or something came after us, they would see the signs, just like we're learning to read the signs of what came before. Maybe that's the real lesson of the Silurian Hypothesis. It's not about proving there was a civilization before us. It's about understanding that civilizations can rise and fall, even advanced ones, and sometimes their only legacy is dust, buried under layers of time. So, are we the first? Right now, we have no direct evidence of an ancient industrial civilization. No cities, no machines, no writing buried in stone. But what we do have are questions, gaps in the fossil record, anomalies in rock layers, clues that remind us how little we really know about deep time. And maybe that's the point. The Silurian Hypothesis isn't trying to rewrite history. It's asking us to look at Earth with new eyes, to recognize that even something as big as a civilization might vanish. If we're not paying attention, it reminds us that our own chapter is short, that the mark we leave behind will be geological, not digital, and that future beings, if they ever study us, will do so through the same clues we're trying to understand now. So maybe the real question isn't, were we first? It's, what kind of legacy do we want to leave? Thanks for watching Before the Light. If you enjoyed this journey into deep time, consider subscribing. And let us know what you think. Could Earth have hosted forgotten civilizations? Or are we truly the beginning? Either way, the past still has secrets to tell, and we're just getting started.